The words came out of my wife's mouth like she was asking me to pass the salt. We were sitting on our back patio on a Saturday evening, having wine like we did most weekends, and Sarah looked at me with those green eyes I'd fallen in love with 10 years ago and said, "I think we should open up our marriage." I actually laughed at first. I thought she was joking, maybe referencing some article she'd read or podcast she'd listened to. Sarah was always consuming content about relationships and self-improvement, but she didn't laugh with me. "I'm serious, David. I think we've become too comfortable, too routine. I love you, but I think we both need to explore ourselves as individuals. We got married so young. I was 23, you were 25. Don't you ever wonder what else is out there?" I set down my wine glass carefully, my hand suddenly shaking. "Are you saying you want to see other people?" "I'm saying I want us both to have the freedom to explore connections with others while maintaining our primary relationship. Lots of couples do this successfully. It actually strengthens their marriage." My mind was reeling. We'd been married for 8 years, together for 10. We had a good life, a nice house in the suburbs, decent jobs, a golden retriever named Murphy. We talked about starting a family soon. This was coming out of nowhere. "Where is this coming from?" I asked. "Did something happen? Are you unhappy?" "I'm not unhappy. I just think we could be happier, more fulfilled." She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. "David, don't be like that. I'm trying to have an honest conversation about our needs." "Did you meet someone?" The question came out before I could stop it. Sarah's face flickered with something, guilt, annoyance, before settling into patient understanding. "This isn't about someone else. This is about us growing as individuals." "That's not an answer." "No, David, I haven't met someone. I'm just thinking about our future and what we both need to be truly happy." I wanted to believe her. I'd always trusted Sarah completely. She was a marketing director at a mid-size firm, ambitious and driven, but I'd never had reason to doubt her faithfulness. "I need time to think about this," I said. "Of course, take all the time you need. I just wanted to put it out there." She kissed my cheek and went inside, leaving me on the patio with half a glass of wine and a marriage that suddenly felt like it was built on sand. I didn't sleep that night. I lay next to Sarah, watching her breathe peacefully while my mind ran through every interaction we'd had over the past few months, looking for signs I'd missed. Had she been distant? Was she dressing differently, coming home late? Actually, yes, she'd been working late a lot recently, at least twice a week for the past 2 months. She'd mentioned a big client project, something about rebranding for a major company. I'd been supportive, ordering takeout for myself on those nights, not questioning it. And she had bought new clothes, a whole new work wardrobe, actually. She'd said she wanted to look more professional for client meetings. I'd complimented her, told her she looked beautiful. She'd seemed pleased. My stomach turned. I was either paranoid or willfully blind, maybe both. The next morning, I told Sarah I needed more than time to think. I needed complete honesty. If there's someone else, I need to know now, not after I agree to something I'm not comfortable with. She looked me dead in the eye. "David, I swear to you there is no one else. I'm asking about an open marriage because I think it could enhance what we have, not replace it. But if you're not comfortable, we don't have to do it. I'm not going to push you." I believed her. God help me, I believed her. "I don't think I can do it," I said. "The idea of you with someone else makes me physically sick, and I don't want to be with anyone else. You're it for me, Sarah. You've always been it." She hugged me and I felt her body relax against mine. "Okay, I understand. We won't do it. I'm sorry I upset you." We didn't talk about it again for 3 weeks. Life went back to normal, or what I thought was normal. Sarah still worked late occasionally. I started a new project at my job as a software engineer. We walked Murphy together in the evenings. We made love on weekends. Everything seemed fine. Then I forgot my laptop at home one Tuesday morning. I realized it halfway to the office and turned around. I used my key quietly, not wanting to wake Sarah if she was still sleeping. She had the day off. I heard her voice from upstairs. She was laughing, that particular laugh she used when she was flirting. I'd heard it directed at me 1,000 times when we were dating. I stood at the bottom of the stairs, frozen, listening. No, he won't suspect anything. He's completely clueless. I know, it was worth a shot. If he'd agreed, it would have made everything so much easier. Of course I want to be with you. This is just complicated. I need a little more time to figure out the finances and logistics. Yes, I'm still planning to leave him. I just need to do it right. My entire body went cold. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I stood there like a statue while my wife, my partner of 10 years, talked about leaving me with someone else. I have to go. I'll see you Thursday. The usual place. I love you too. I heard her footsteps above me and realized she was going to come downstairs and find me standing there. Some survival instinct kicked in, and I quietly slipped back out the front door, closing it silently behind me. I sat in my car in our driveway, my hands gripping the steering wheel, trying to process what I'd just heard. Sarah was having an affair. She'd lied to my face. The open marriage conversation wasn't about exploration or growth. It was about legitimizing an affair she was already having. I wanted to storm back in there and confront her. I wanted to scream and break things and demand answers, but something stopped me. Maybe it was pride, maybe it was strategy, maybe I was just in shock. I drove to work on autopilot. I sat at my desk and stared at my computer screen without seeing it. My coworker and friend Marcus stopped by around 10. "You look like hell, man. You okay?" I almost said yes, gave the automatic response, but instead I heard myself say, "I think my wife is cheating on me." Marcus closed my office door. What happened? I told him everything, the open marriage request, the phone call I'd overheard that morning. Saying it out loud made it more real, and I felt like I might throw up. "What are you going to do?" Marcus asked. "I have no idea. You need to find out who it is and get proof. If you're going to divorce her, you need documentation." Divorce, the word hit me like a physical blow. I'd never imagined divorcing Sarah. She was my person, my partner, my future. Except she wasn't anymore. Maybe she hadn't been for a while. "I don't even know where to start," I said. "Do you have access to her phone records, credit card statements?" "We have a joint credit card, but she has her own account too. I've never looked at it. I trusted her." Marcus grimaced. "You need to look at it now and check the phone records, see if there's a number she's calling frequently." I felt dirty even thinking about it, but Sarah had lied to me. She'd looked me in the eye and sworn there was no one else, then plotted my betrayal on the phone an hour later. I went home during lunch. Sarah's car was gone. She'd mentioned something about meeting a friend for coffee. I logged into our joint banking account and found her personal credit card statements. My hands shook as I scrolled through the charges. Restaurants I'd never been to, hotels, a jewelry purchase for $800 that I'd never seen, flowers, she'd never brought flowers home, all of it over the past 4 months. I felt like I was looking at a stranger's life. I pulled our phone records next. One number appeared constantly, calls and texts, almost daily, starting about 5 months ago. The calls were often during her late work nights and lasted 30 minutes or more. I copied everything to a flash drive and emailed it to myself. Then I did something I'd never thought I'd do. I installed tracking software on our shared iPad, which Sarah often took to work. I was building a case against my own wife. That night, Sarah came home cheerful and affectionate. She kissed me hello, asked about my day, started making dinner. I watched her move around our kitchen and wondered how long she'd been playing this double life. How long had she been lying while looking so natural doing it? "You okay?" she asked. "You seem quiet." "Just tired, long day." "Well, dinner will be ready soon. Why don't you go relax?" I wanted to scream at her. I wanted to show her the credit card statements and demand the truth, but I swallowed it down and went to the living room. Over the next week, I became someone I didn't recognize. I checked the tracking software obsessively. I monitored her credit card. I looked through her texts when she was in the shower. What I found destroyed me piece by piece. The texts were to someone named James. They were careful coded, nothing explicitly sexual, but intimate in a way that was unmistakable. Inside jokes, pet names, planning meetups at hotels. The tracker showed me she'd been to the Ritz-Carlton downtown 4 times in the past 2 weeks, always on days she claimed to be working late. I felt like I was dying slowly, watching my marriage decompose in real time. But I also started to feel something else underneath the pain. Anger, cold, calculated anger. I made an appointment with a divorce attorney without telling Sarah. Her name was Rebecca Morrison, and she came highly recommended. "What are your goals here?" Rebecca asked after I'd shown her everything I'd found. "I want out. I want this to be over as quickly and cleanly as possible." "Do you want to know who the affair partner is?" "I hadn't thought about that. Does it matter?" "It might. If he's married, for instance, you have additional leverage. If he's her boss, that's a workplace ethics issue. Information is power in these situations." "How do I find out?" Private investigator, I can recommend someone. I hired the investigator that afternoon. His name was Tom, he was ex-military, and he was expensive. I didn't care. I used our savings account, the one Sarah and I had built together for our future, to pay his retainer. The irony wasn't lost on me. Tom called me 3 days later. I've got a full report. You want this over the phone or in person? In person. We met at a coffee shop far from my neighborhood. Tom slid a folder across the table to me. I opened it and saw photos. Sarah and a man I didn't recognize outside the Ritz-Carlton. Sarah and the same man having dinner at an expensive restaurant. Sarah and the man kissing in the parking garage. My stomach churned, but I kept looking. His name is James Thornton, Tom said. He's the CEO of Thornton Industries, worth about $50 million, married, 3 kids. His company was actually the client Sarah's been working on, that rebranding project she mentioned. Of course, the work project was real. She just conveniently left out that she was sleeping with the client. He's married, I asked. Very. Wife's name is Catherine. They've been married 22 years. She comes from money, old Boston family. I'm guessing she doesn't know about your wife. I stared at the photos. James Thornton was older than me, maybe mid-40s, with silver hair and an expensive suit. He looked exactly like what he was, a rich, powerful man who was used to getting what he wanted. And apparently, he wanted my wife. There's something else, Tom said. I did some digging into Thornton's background. This isn't his first affair. He had another one about 5 years ago with an employee. When that woman tried to get him to leave his wife, he fired her and had her sign an NDA. She couldn't work in the industry again. So he's a serial cheater who discards his mistresses when they become inconvenient. That would be my assessment, yes. I looked at the photos again. Sarah looked happy in them, radiant. I couldn't remember the last time she'd looked at me like that. Thank you, I told Tom. Send me your full invoice. I went home and found Sarah cooking dinner again, humming to herself. I watched her and wondered if she had any idea what was about to happen to her perfect double life. Good day, I asked. Great day. The Thornton Industries campaign is really coming together. James, Mr. Thornton, is really pleased with our work. The casual way she said his name, the lie sliding out so smoothly, made my decision for me. I was done. That's great, honey, I said. I'm glad it's going well. That night I finalized my plan. I took the next day off work without telling Sarah. While she was at her office, or wherever she actually was, I moved half the money from our savings account into a new account in my name only. I changed the password on our joint accounts. I boxed up the things that mattered to me, photos from my childhood, my grandfather's watch, my collection of first edition books. I left my wedding ring on the kitchen counter. And I left a printed copy of every piece of evidence I'd gathered, the credit card statements, the phone records, the photos from the private investigator, and one additional item. The contact information for Catherine Thornton, James's wife. I added a note, I know everything, I'm filing for divorce. You have a choice, tell James's wife yourself or I will. You have 48 hours. Then I left. I drove to Marcus's house where he'd agreed to let me stay. I texted Sarah from the car, check the kitchen counter, my lawyer will be in touch. Then I blocked her number. Marcus opened his door and took one look at my face. You did it. I did it. How do you feel? Like my life just ended. No man, it just started. The old life ended, that's different. I wanted to believe him. My phone rang constantly for the next hour, Sarah, calling from different numbers when she realized I'd blocked her. I didn't answer. Finally, she left a voicemail that Marcus's phone picked up since she tried calling him too. David, please, we need to talk. I can explain everything. It's not what you think. Please don't do this. I love you. Please call me back. I listened to it once and deleted it. The next morning, Rebecca filed the divorce papers. She was aggressive and thorough, asking for the house, the cars, everything. I didn't actually care about the assets. I just wanted Sarah to understand that her actions had consequences. Sarah called Rebecca's office 12 times that day. Rebecca ignored her. I spent the day in a fog. I couldn't eat. I couldn't focus. I felt like I was watching my life from outside my body. Then at 6 p.m. my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Is this David Chen? A woman's voice, cultured and cold. Yes, who is this? Catherine Thornton, I believe you know my husband. My heart started pounding. Mrs. Thornton, yes, I'm sorry you had to find out this way. I didn't find out from you. I found out from your wife. She called me an hour ago, hysterical, begging me not to tell James that she'd told me about the affair. Apparently, you gave her an ultimatum. I did. Well, she made the wrong choice. She thought if she told me herself, she could control the narrative. Instead, she just confirmed what I'd already suspected. Catherine's voice was ice. My husband has done this before. I forgave him once. I won't make that mistake again. I'm sorry you're going through this. Are you, or are you just sorry you got pulled into my husband's mess? Fair point, both, I suppose. I want you to know something, David. James will throw your wife away like trash the second this becomes inconvenient for him. He's probably already planning his exit strategy. These men always do. She paused. I'm taking him for everything. My family has lawyers who will make sure he regrets this for the rest of his life. And your wife, she'll be collateral damage. Her career in this city will be over. No one will touch her after this. I should have felt bad for Sarah. Instead, I felt nothing. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Because you deserve to know that you're not the only one seeking justice, and because I want you to understand that the woman who betrayed you is about to lose everything, if that brings you any peace. It doesn't, I said honestly, but thank you for the call. She hung up. I sat there processing the conversation. Sarah's world was about to implode. Her affair partner was going to dump her. Her career was going to tank. Our marriage was over. She'd gambled everything and lost. I wish I could say it made me feel better. It didn't. The next week was a blur. Sarah tried everything to reach me, emails, texts from friends' phones, showing up at Marcus's house. I didn't engage with any of it. Rebecca handled all communication through lawyers. Then I heard through a mutual friend that James had indeed ended things with Sarah. According to the friend, Sarah had shown up at his office and he'd had security escort her out. He'd apparently told her that their relationship was a mistake and he was committed to working things out with his wife. Catherine had been right. Sarah was collateral damage. 3 weeks after I left, I went back to our house to pick up more of my things. Sarah's car was in the driveway. I texted her through Rebecca that I was coming at this specific time, and she'd agreed to be gone. But clearly, she decided to ignore that agreement. I found her in the living room, looking like she hadn't slept in days. Her hair was unwashed. She was wearing sweatpants I'd never seen, and she'd lost weight. Sarah, you agreed to be gone. I needed to see you, to talk to you in person. Her voice was hoarse. Please, David, just give me 5 minutes. There's nothing to say. There's everything to say. I made a mistake, the biggest mistake of my life, but it's over now and I want to fix this. I want to fix us. I stared at her. There is no us anymore. Don't say that. We've been together for 10 years. You can't just throw that away. I didn't throw it away. You did, when you started sleeping with James Thornton, when you lied to my face about the open marriage, when you planned to leave me while still sleeping in our bed every night. She flinched. I never actually planned to leave you. That was just talk. I was confused. I heard you, Sarah. I heard you tell him you were leaving me. You just needed time for the finances and logistics. Her face crumpled. You were home that morning. I forgot my laptop. Got to hear my wife plot my betrayal. That was a fun experience. David, please. How long? I interrupted. How long were you sleeping with him? She looked down. 4 months. 4 months, a third of a year. All those late nights, all those lies, all those times she'd come home and kissed me hello with the same mouth she'd been using on him. Did you love him? I don't know why I asked. The answer didn't matter. I thought I did, but I was wrong. It was just excitement and novelty. It wasn't real. What we have is real. What we had was real, past tense. You destroyed it. I can rebuild it. I'll do anything. Therapy, counseling, whatever you want. I'll sign a postnup. I'll quit my job, anything. You'll quit your job, I laughed bitterly. Pretty sure you're about to lose it anyway. Word gets around fast about affairs with married clients. Her face went pale. What did you do? Me, nothing. Catherine Thornton, on the other hand, she's very connected in this city, and very angry. I imagine your professional reputation is about to take a significant hit. You told his wife. Sarah looked horrified. No, you did, remember, when you called her begging her not to tell James that you'd confessed. I only did that because you gave me an ultimatum. Right? Because nothing is ever your fault. You didn't have an affair, you were just confused. You didn't lie for months, you were just trying not to hurt me. You didn't destroy our marriage, I did, by not letting you have consequence-free adultery. That's not fair. None of this is fair, Sarah. Fair would have been you respecting our marriage vows. Fair would have been you being honest instead of manipulative. Fair would have been you ending our marriage before starting a new relationship, not running them in parallel, and asking me to legitimize your affair as an open marriage. She was crying now, and I felt nothing. When had I stopped loving her? Was it the moment I heard her on the phone, or had it been dying slowly for months while I was too trusting to notice? I'm taking Murphy, I said. He was my dog before we got married anyway. You can't take Murphy, he's our dog. There is no our anymore. Read the divorce papers. I get Murphy. You can have the house, I don't want it. Too many bad memories now. David, please don't do this, I'm begging you. I know I don't deserve another chance, but I'm asking for one anyway. I love you. I never stopped loving you. You have a really twisted definition of love. I called Murphy, who bounded over happily. I clipped on his leash and headed for the door. David, Sarah grabbed my arm. Please don't leave like this. Let's talk, really talk. I looked down at her hand on my arm, and she let go. Goodbye, Sarah. I walked out, Murphy trotting beside me, and I didn't look back. The divorce took 6 months to finalize. Sarah contested everything at first, then eventually gave up when her lawyer told her she had no leverage. The affair was documented, she'd admitted it, and she'd been the one to request an open marriage, which a judge would see as evidence of her desire to legitimize infidelity. She got the house and her car. I got Murphy, my retirement accounts, and my dignity. I also got something unexpected, a promotion. My company had been developing a new software platform, and I'd thrown myself into work as a distraction from the divorce. The project was a massive success, and I was promoted to senior engineer with a significant raise. Marcus convinced me to use some of my settlement money to invest in my appearance and health. I hired a personal trainer, updated my wardrobe, got a better haircut. I didn't do it for Sarah or to make her jealous. I did it because I'd spent so much energy fighting for a marriage that was already dead, and I wanted to invest that energy in myself instead. The change was dramatic. I lost 20 pounds of stress weight I'd been carrying. I built muscle. I looked better than I had in years, maybe ever. I also started therapy. My therapist, Dr. Lauren Webb, helped me process the betrayal and understand the patterns that had led me to ignore warning signs. You're a fixer, she told me. You see problems and you try to solve them. When Sarah asked for an open marriage, your instinct was to fix whatever was wrong in the relationship. You didn't consider that maybe the problem was Sarah herself. I trusted her completely. I never thought she'd lie to me. Trust is good. Blind trust is dangerous. There's a difference between trusting someone and refusing to see evidence that they're untrustworthy. It was hard to hear, but she was right. I'd seen the late nights, the new clothes, the distance. I'd felt the shift in our relationship. I'd just chosen to believe Sarah's explanations instead of trusting my instincts. What do I do differently next time? I asked. You trust yourself first. You pay attention to your gut, and you don't sacrifice your own needs and boundaries to keep someone else comfortable. I took her advice seriously. I started dating again, casually at first. It was strange after being with Sarah for so long, but it was also exciting, meeting new people, discovering what I actually wanted instead of just accommodating what Sarah wanted. I went on dates with a teacher, a graphic designer, a lawyer. Nothing serious, just exploration. I was learning who I was outside of my marriage, and it turned out I actually liked this version of myself better. Life moved on. I bought a condo downtown, modern and sleek, nothing like the suburban house I'd shared with Sarah. I decorated it exactly how I wanted, minimalist, tech-forward, with a great view of the city. Murphy loved it. I loved it. It was mine. A year after the divorce was finalized, Marcus dragged me to a charity gala his company was sponsoring. I didn't want to go. I hated these kinds of events, but Marcus insisted, and he'd been such a good friend through everything that I owed him. I wore a new suit, felt confident, and prepared to be bored for 3 hours. Instead, I ran into Sarah. She was there with her new boss. She'd gotten a job at a smaller marketing firm after being quietly let go from her previous company. She looked good, put together, though I noticed she was drinking heavily. She saw me from across the room, and I watched her expression cycle through shock, pain, and something that might have been longing. I felt nothing. She approached me during the cocktail hour. David, hi, I didn't know you'd be here. Marcus's company is a sponsor. He dragged me along. You look really good, different. Thanks, you look well too. Awkward silence. What do you say to someone who was your everything and is now nothing? I heard about your promotion, Sarah said. Congratulations, you deserve it. Thank you. And I heard you bought a place downtown. That's great, really great. More silence. David, she stopped, took a breath. I owe you a real apology, not the desperate one I gave you when you left. A real one now that I've had time to process what I did. Okay. I was selfish and cruel. I took you for granted. I convinced myself that I deserved more excitement, more attention, without ever considering what I was risking. And when it all fell apart, I blamed everyone but myself. She looked down. James dumped me the second things got complicated. Catherine destroyed his reputation and took him for millions in the divorce. He lost his company, and I realized he was never going to leave her for me. I was just a distraction. I know, Catherine called me. She did, Sarah looked surprised. After you told her about the affair, she wanted me to know that James was going to discard you. She was right. She was, Sarah's eyes filled with tears. I lost everything, David. My job, my reputation, our life. And for what? For a man who never actually cared about me, who used me and threw me away exactly like his wife said he would. I should have felt satisfaction, vindication, but I just felt tired. I'm sorry you went through that, I said, and I meant it. I didn't love her anymore, didn't want her back, but I didn't wish her pain either. I don't deserve your kindness, she wiped her eyes. I heard you're seeing someone, a lawyer. We dated for a few months, it didn't work out. I'm single right now. Why did I tell her that? I saw the flash of hope in her eyes and immediately regretted it. David, I know I have no right to ask this, but is there any chance we could try again, start over? I've been in therapy, I've done so much work on myself. I understand now what I did and why. I could be better this time. Sarah, no. Please just hear me out. No, I've heard you out, and my answer is no. We're not getting back together. Not now, not ever. Why, you're single, I'm single. We had 10 good years before I ruined it. Don't those years count for anything? Of course they count. They're part of my history, part of who I am. But they're history. I'm not going backward. This isn't backward, it's forward, with someone who knows you and loves you. You don't love me, Sarah. You love the security I represented, the safety net. James was exciting until he wasn't, and now you want to come back to the stable option. I kept my voice gentle but firm. I deserve more than being someone's backup plan. You're not a backup plan, you're my first choice. You always were, I just got confused. For 4 months, you were confused for a third of a year. She flinched. I'm not angry anymore, I continued. I'm actually grateful in a weird way. You blowing up our marriage forced me to become a better version of myself. I'm happier now than I was with you. I like my life, and I'm not interested in going back to who I was when we were together. I could fit into your new life. I could. Sarah, stop. This is embarrassing for both of us. She looked like I'd slapped her. I just love you. Is that so wrong? You love the idea of me. You love not being alone. But you don't love me. You don't even know who I am now. We're strangers who used to be married. We don't have to be strangers. Yes, we do. It's better this way, for both of us. I saw Marcus across the room, gesturing that he was ready to leave. Perfect timing. I have to go. I hope you find what you're looking for, Sarah. I really do, but you won't find it with me. I walked away. She called after me, but I didn't turn around. In the car, Marcus asked, how did that go? She asked if we could get back together. Jesus, what did you say? No. How do you feel? I thought about it, free. And I was. 2 years after the divorce, I met someone. Her name was Emily. She was an architect, and she was nothing like Sarah. Where Sarah had been high maintenance and dramatic, Emily was grounded and calm. Where Sarah had needed constant validation, Emily was secure in herself. We met at a coffee shop. She was sketching building designs. I was working on code. We both reached for the same table at the same time and decided to share it. What are you working on? She asked. Security software for financial institutions. Incredibly boring unless you're into code. Try me, I might surprise you. She did surprise me. She was brilliant, funny, and genuinely interested in my work. We talked for 3 hours. I asked for her number. She gave it to me. Our first date was dinner at a small Italian place. Our second date was a hike with Murphy, who loved her immediately. Our third date was a museum, where she explained architectural styles and I pretended to understand. By the sixth date, I knew I was falling for her. I should tell you, I said over coffee one morning, I'm divorced. It was messy. My ex-wife had an affair. Emily nodded. I appreciate you telling me. For what it's worth, I'm divorced too. My ex-husband was an alcoholic who refused to get help. I spent 5 years trying to save him before I realized I couldn't. So we're both damaged goods. Or we're both people who learned from hard experiences and know what we want now. She smiled. I prefer the second interpretation. Might too. We took things slowly. We were both cautious, both scarred by previous relationships, but we were also intentional, communicating openly, building something real. 6 months into our relationship, Emily met Marcus and gave her approval. He's good for you. You're lighter around him. I'm lighter around her too, I admitted. She's not Sarah. No, she's not. She's better. A year into dating Emily, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but it was a local area code. Hello. David Chen, a man's voice, unfamiliar. Yes, who is this? My name is Robert Caldwell. I'm an attorney representing Sarah Morrison, your ex-wife. She's asked me to reach out about a potential reconciliation. I actually laughed. You've got to be kidding me. I assure you, Mr. Chen, this is not a joke. Ms. Morrison has been in extensive therapy and has done significant personal development work. She believes she's addressed the issues that led to the dissolution of your marriage and would like an opportunity to discuss reconnecting. Let me be extremely clear. I am not interested in reconnecting with my ex-wife. Not now, not ever. I'm in a relationship with someone else, someone who actually respects me. Please do not contact me again on her behalf. Mr. Chen, if you would just consider. No, and if Sarah continues to contact me through attorneys or any other means, I'll file for a restraining order. We are done. We have been done for 3 years. Tell her to move on. I hung up. Emily, who'd overheard the conversation, raised her eyebrows. Your ex hired a lawyer to ask you to take her back. Apparently. That's a level of desperate I can't even comprehend. She's been trying to get back together since the divorce. This is just the latest tactic. Does she know you're seeing someone? I don't know, we have no contact, but I'm not exactly hiding it. Emily was quiet for a moment. Does it bother you that she keeps trying? It used to, now it's just sad. She's stuck in the past, trying to undo something that can't be undone. Meanwhile, I've moved on and built a whole new life. I pulled Emily closer, a life I actually love. Good answer, she said and kissed me. 3.5 years after my divorce, I proposed to Emily. We were hiking the same trail where we'd had our second date, Murphy running ahead of us, and I pulled out a ring I'd designed with her specific aesthetic in mind. Emily Rodriguez, you are the most brilliant, grounded, beautiful person I've ever known. You helped me believe in love again after I thought that part of me was dead. Will you marry me? She said yes before I even finished the question. We planned a small wedding, just close friends and family. Marcus was my best man. Emily's sister was her maid of honor. Murphy was the ring bearer because of course he was. The day before the wedding, I got an email from Sarah. I don't know how she got my new email address. I'd changed it years ago, but there it was, sitting in my inbox like a ghost from the past. I almost deleted it without reading it, but curiosity won. David, I heard through mutual friends that you're getting married tomorrow. I wanted to reach out one last time before you take that step. I know I have no right to ask you to reconsider. I know I destroyed what we had, but I'm asking anyway because I can't bear the thought of you marrying someone else when we could have had everything together. I've spent the last 3 years working on myself, understanding what I did wrong, becoming someone who could be worthy of you. I'm not the same person who cheated on you. I've changed. I'm not asking you to call off your wedding. I'm just asking you to consider whether you're marrying this woman because you love her or because you're trying to prove something. Prove that you've moved on, that I didn't break you, that you can have what we had with someone else. But you can't have with her what we had. 10 years of history, of growing up together, of building a life from nothing. She doesn't know you like I know you. She didn't fall in love with you when you were a broke software engineer driving a 15-year-old Honda. She doesn't know the dreams we shared, the life we planned. I'm not saying don't marry her. I'm saying make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. I'll always love you. I'll always regret what I did. And I'll always wonder what we could have been if I hadn't been so stupid. Sarah. I read it twice, then I forwarded it to Emily with a note. My ex sent this. Thought you should see it before tomorrow. Emily called me 5 minutes later. Is she serious? Apparently. She thinks you're marrying me to prove something, not because, I don't know, we're in love and want to build a life together. She's been trying to get back together for 3 years. This is her last-ditch effort. It's manipulative. She's trying to make you doubt your feelings, doubt our relationship. I know it's not working. Good, because I know exactly why you're marrying me, and it has nothing to do with her or proving anything. You're marrying me because we make each other better, because we communicate honestly, because we build each other up instead of tearing each other down. Exactly. Are you going to respond to her? No, the best response is no response. Tomorrow I'm marrying you, and Sarah becomes even more irrelevant than she already is. I love you. I love you too. The wedding was perfect, small, intimate, filled with people who actually cared about us. I stood at the altar watching Emily walk down the aisle, and I didn't think about Sarah once. This was my future. This was my choice. This was love without betrayal, without lies, without the constant fear that it would fall apart. We honeymooned in Italy, 2 weeks of architecture, food, and wandering through ancient cities. We talked about our future, about kids maybe, about the house we wanted to design together, about growing old. It was everything marriage should be. When we got back, I finally responded to Sarah's email, just 3 words. I'm happy, goodbye. Then I blocked her email address and moved on with my life. 5 years after my divorce from Sarah, Emily and I had a daughter. We named her Rose, and she was perfect. Being a father changed me in ways I couldn't have imagined. I thought about the family Sarah and I had planned to start, and I was grateful it had never happened. These moments, holding my daughter, watching my wife sing her to sleep, building this specific family, were meant to be with Emily, not Sarah. Everything had happened exactly as it should. I heard through Marcus, who heard through someone else, that Sarah had finally moved on. She was dating someone seriously, some guy who worked in finance. I hoped she'd learned from our marriage, hoped she'd treat this relationship better. But honestly, I didn't think about her much anymore. She was a character in a story I used to live, not someone relevant to my present. My life was full, my career, my wife, my daughter. My dog, Murphy, was getting old but still kicking. I coached a youth coding club. Emily and I were designing our dream house. We took Rose to the park every Sunday. I was happy, genuinely, deeply happy. One Saturday afternoon, Emily and I were at the park with Rose when I saw a familiar figure on a bench across the playground. Sarah. She was alone, watching the children play with an expression I couldn't quite read. Longing, maybe. Regret. She saw me at the same moment I saw her. I watched her take in the whole picture, me, Emily, our daughter, our family. Our eyes met across the playground. I saw everything I needed to see in her expression, the life she'd gambled away, the future she'd lost. I nodded once, a simple acknowledgement. She nodded back. Then I turned back to my wife and daughter, and I didn't look at Sarah again. Emily noticed. Was that her? Yeah. You okay? I'm perfect, I said, and I meant it. Because I was. Sarah had wanted an open marriage to justify an affair she was already having. She'd cheated with a CEO who'd used her and discarded her. She'd lost her career, her reputation, and her marriage. And now she was alone, watching the life she could have had if she'd just been honest, just been faithful, just been a partner instead of a liar. Meanwhile, I had everything: a wife who loved and respected me, a daughter who was my whole world, a career I was proud of, a life built on honesty and trust and real love. The best revenge wasn't making Sarah suffer. It was being genuinely happy without her. It was building something beautiful with someone who deserved it. It was moving on so completely that her attempts to come back were just background noise. I picked up Rose and swung her in the air, her laughter filling the playground. Emily laughed too, taking pictures on her phone. This was my life now. This was what Sarah had thrown away. And I had never been more grateful for her betrayal, because it had led me exactly where I was meant to be.